Hello, and today we're going to talk about enumeration, which is essentially just taking things that aren't numbers or maybe not integers and changing and linking them to integers so that you can do specific things with them. Because obviously, if you think about an integer, what can you do? You can add it, subtract it, do all these different things. So it might be useful once in a while to associate something like that. The example I'm most likely to give is kind of from my gaming background, in that, if you have your shields on high, or you have a boost or something like that. If you think about it, those are just words, right? But inside the computer, they're going to mean something. A boost might be 1.25 times your regular speed. A shield of high might mean it can take a specific amount of damage before it gives out. So it's good to have the word boost for the user, but it might be bad because you can't use it inside the game. Let me just show you a simple example first to kind of demonstrate this. So here we have a big form, and to be honest, the right-hand side of the form, I'm not going to use today. Really, all that you need is the days list box, and the list of days, or the list but, as I call it, that you can use for that. And if I double click into that, the button does one thing. Yep, it just calls up a method. Nothing returned, nothing gained. All we're going to do is go up to this day enum and run this program. But before I do this, I call a bunch of variables way up here, just below the namespace, just to make it easy. There's two enumerations here. And the one I want you to look at first is the change. So here we're saying penny is equal to 1, nickel is equal to 5, dime is equal to 10, quarter is equal to 25, and then we have the word bike. And the reason why I put the word bike in there is to throw people off, because I always want them to guess what bike is equal to. If I put dollar, they'll automate, or half dollar or something like that. They'll know it's going to be 50 or something like that. But in this case, what would bike be equal to? Is it equal to 40? Is it equal to 50? Is it, what is the number? And the answer is it's always going to be one more than the one to the left of it. If it's not defined, if I say bike is equal to 50, bike has to be equal to 50. But if it isn't, then it's just one more than 25, so bike is equal to 26. But now notice this here. It is good to do these in order. So it goes up 1 to 5 to 10 to 25 to 26. That is going roughly in order. It doesn't, as you can see, it doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's sequential order, but it should go from low to high. Now, is this going to show up? Well, we're going to prove this to you by saying if quarter is greater than nickel, and notice what I'm doing here. I'm saying change.quarter and change.nickel, because essentially I gave it the variable name change, meaning that this is a set of this, and this should look roughly like essentially a list or an array, because basically that's what it is. It's collecting all of these integers of the same type and grouping them together. But once you have them, instead of using subscripts, we're going to essentially use the word penny to find what this is, or indices, I should say. So we'll use change.bike and change.quarter. Do not worry about day.Sunday. Well, actually, I take that back. Let's take a look at Sunday, because that brings us to the second question. Here we're enumerating days, but as you can see, guess what? We have not even assigned one number to any of these. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you're guessing that Saturday is going to be one more than Friday, and Friday is going to be one more than Thursday, on and on and on until you get to Monday. So Monday is going to be one more than Sunday. But then the question is what is Sunday? And look, it actually gives us the answer right there is 0, because so just like an array's index starts at 0, so does this enumeration process. It will try to start you off at 0 if you do not define it. So that when we run this and hit my list of days, it says a quarter is larger. And actually, before we look at this, what I'm going to have you do is look at the text boxes down here. So first of all, I put the evaluation of quarter and nickel here, just to show that a quarter, which we said equal to 25, and a nickel is equal to 5, that it's going to actually treat these as numbers. So it's comparing the two numbers. And so when I hit start again, let's take a look. It's going to say a quarter is larger. That's just to show that it is going into this scope, and it is recognizing a quarter as the integer 25, and nickel as the integer 5. We're also going to verify change.byte, because remember it was 1 after quarter, so that should be 26, which it certainly is, and then day.sunday is 0, as we surmised. Okay, so that's kind of a boring thing to do with it. So let's go ahead and comment that out, because who's going to want to unclick and click those pieces? What I want to do, or what I think is one of the more fun things to do, is actually now use this to kind of cycle through this in a for statement. So if I look at this for statement, I say day D Sunday, D is less than day Saturday, and D plus plus. Looks pretty familiar, right? But there's not one number in here except for maybe the incrementer that looks like something we've done before. So I guess we can have this D in here. But let's go back up and see what it's talking about in terms of day. We enumerated this day as the word day. And it starts off and it goes from 0 to Saturday, which means that they should go up by 7. So if we replace this, it says day D equals day Sunday. Well, day Sunday we just determined is 0, right? We already looked that up in the message box. And then it's going to go all the way to the highest number, which was Saturday, which is 6. So 7 in all, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, not 7, just 6. And it's going to go up by 1, because that's the natural incrementer. And it's going to put all these things in a days list item box. Or should I say list box. And now if I hit the list of days, sure enough, Sunday, and it will cycle through those days. So this is a nice way of being able to run through characters and strings via a for loop, which in the past we haven't been able to do, because characters cannot be put in, I'm going to call it the header, but the test case and all that stuff in here. Before we couldn't put characters and strings in, but now we can, because we've associated those characters and strings with essentially numbers. And that's kind of the power and the strength of enumeration.